Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode from WhaleJaw 3D. In the last episode, we made this render. We used the fluid simulations from Blender to try and simulate smoke for us. As you can see, it's not very good. It's really starting to annoy me how bad it actually is. I finished it at like 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday and I just sent it, as you do. And I watched the episode back today and it was the most painful episode I've made in a long time, I'd say. It was rubbish. So what we're going to do today in this episode is come in and we're going to fix this. Now, the trouble with fluid simulations, or rather smoke simulations in Blender, is they take an absolute age. Anything that takes more than a minute to complete, in my eyes, is utterly useless. I'm tired of it. I am divorcing myself from fluid simulations on Blender. I'm sick of it. I put 6 hours of render time into this shot and it looks an absolute dog of an image. The resolution's not high enough for a kickoff, and it's like the resolution required to simulate, which it does make sense, you know what I mean, we're simulating life here. I would need a computer so powerful it would disrupt the ozone layer of the planet when I turn it on. Simulations in Blender are utterly useless in my opinion. They're useless. So I tried filming this once already. I was thinking, right, what we'll do is we'll render separately the smoke and we'll like layer it in after, but it didn't work out. And I was just like, I'm not ever going to sit here ever again waiting for something to bake or something to render for 3 hours. I've got a 4090 with a 16 core CPU. This should not be happening. I'm sick of watching a bake tick over on 20% CPU power. Like, use the whole damn CPU. But no. So, like, I don't want to continue, but it really has annoyed me, this as today. Fluid simulations in Blender suck dick. This, like, only swear words could express how rubbish they are. I'm sick of them. So, I did a bit of learning. I knew of its existence, but I'd never used it, so I've had a play. If we let it load in, I don't know whether you're familiar, but I've decided to use a particle system. Now, what is a particle system? Well, it's a damn sight better than the fluid simulations in Blender. Look how quick that is operating on my computer. I'm getting full frames. 30 frames a second, it's chugging away, and all it's doing is instancing a little ball called an icosphere here. If we isolate it, we can see we can't see it. So if we just turn off that there we go. If we look at this cube, all this, it's not even a cube, it's an icosphere. So if we come over to our shader editor, or even if we look in this here, we can see we've got something called a volume scatter. Instead of a principled BSDF, shall we delete? We've got an icosphere here, and what I did was click new, and if you come to this panel here, you can find your 2 volumes here. We want volume scatter, and then immediately it'll go black. It's because it's plugged into the surface. We want volume. We're working in volumes now, yeah? Can you see the edges going all fluffy? It's like it's filled up with a bit of smoke. Snoop Dogg would be proud. Smoke bubble. And what we can do here is obviously you can adjust the density, which is handy. I think I knocked it down a little bit. And we can adjust the anisotropy, basically how the relation works with the light, yeah? So it might be worth giving it a little coach that way. Yeah, so the principle's simple. You then add a cube. So if we look here, we've got a cube, but you can't see it, can you? Why is that? So you'd add a cube before it looked like that. I've turned the alpha layer off because obviously if we have the particle system on and that at the same time, we have like a square. We don't want that square, do we? So, you come over to your shader and you just knock the alpha all the way down and it'll just turn it off, yeah? All that square's doing is giving us a point, telling us where to plummet this smoke out of. All we gotta do is tuck that under a wheel now, and it will plume smoke at 30 frames a second, and look, if I'm honest, I think that smoke looks better than real smoke. It just looks cartoon AF. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's the kind of smoke I want. I want it to like have realistic materials, but I want it to like have style at the same time. I'm over the moon that I've decided to go down this route. Fuck fluid simulations. I've got a saying, anti, keep Blender fun. In order to do that, don't use the fluid simulations. I've made lessons on how to make smoke and how to make fire with them, and there was an absolute nightmare. They suck the absolute soul out of you. You sit there for days waiting for bakes and stuff. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Do it in post. Just don't use it, man. Oh, I hate it. So now we know this. We've got ourselves an asset, basically, haven't we? I'm happy with that. I could go further and make the icosphere a better shape, or you can, you know what I mean? You can do what you want, but I really like the bubble effect. It's manga. I love it. It kind of like comes up, cooches over, and it's worth saying that this floor also has collision on it. We've turned the field absorption to 0. I've put the friction up to halfway, so it kind of like slows it down, otherwise it's too watery. Yeah, so it basically comes up, hits the deck, rolls a little bit, and because it's sticky, it kind of dies off. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So should we try and now integrate that into our Batman drifting scene? Because I hate that smoke. I can't view it. I can't adjust it. It's too slow. Ugh, what an absolute poo show. I'm really annoyed. It's annoyed me so much. I wasted a day. This is what you need to take away from this lesson. I did that so you don't have to. So if we come to our timeline, what I'm going to do, I'm going to save a new file because I'm coming at it with an axe. Save it separate, so if my temper gets out of control, I can always come back and start again. So let's tidy up so we can see. We want that, don't we? Smoke asset, we don't want nothing to do with that anymore. Delete that hierarchy. I'm going to give it a clean up, purge any unused data, delete that. And I'm also going to come in here into our blend file and check on our images just in case. Check our materials. We've got a few, but we need them all, I think. We're doing alright. We're not too bulky. I press save now. This should play at 30 frames a second again, but it's not. So, there we go. We've got our speed back. So, we've knocked our subdivision down. As soon as you go on sub D, it kills it. So, somewhere, something has subdivision on it at an unbelievable rate that we don't need. It's because we have collisions on things. That's what's going on. Figured it. So, if we just let me delete it, man. So if you press delete when you're hovering over it, it'll get rid of it. I think it's the same for these wheels, potentially. If we just check, make sure that nothing's got collision on it. So if we go into our view, it's freed up our animation. Lovely jubbly. The virus that is fluid animations, it's not worth it. It's like you sacrifice 3/4 of your computer to the black hole. It's not worth it. I'm stressed, man. So I want to put that back up to 3 then. Check it. There we go, look. We got a frame rate speed back. So what we can do now is start to look at importing our gorgeous tire smoke. So if I now save as that onto the new one like that, we've got ourselves something good, haven't we? This has a new camera angle on it, and I kind of want to render this animation without any smoke so that we can do it before and after. So I might just do that now. What do you reckon? Because I really did like the animation when it had no smoke. When I made that episode, I was like, oh yeah. It was like, I was in the zone with that. So, but I didn't like the end bit, the camera work. That created a lot of discussion, actually, that camera work. It was just like, you know, when you just fire it in at the beginning, I'd not really tried with a camera. It was just like, let's put a bit of effort in, you know what I mean? It's going on YouTube, but usually it is on a follow path constraint, but I was just trying to demonstrate that you can, like, spice up your cameras and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But the difficulty comes in, like, choosing whether you're happy with it or not. That's the difficult thing. It's like, yes, you can just make a simple camera, but at the same time, like, as an artist, you're like, how can I make this better? And you can sit there, you're like a kid in a candy shop, you know what I mean? It's spoiled for choice is the difficulty. You want to do everything, but you can only do one thing. So yeah, I'm going to let that render, I reckon. I'm even going to pump her up. 4 subdivisions. Oh, baby. Should we have a look, actually, before we do that? If we put it into our pocket mode. You know what I mean? I just want to render that. Oof, god damn. So if we pump it up to 4, does it make a difference? Does it make a difference? Because I'm noticing this area here is messy. If we knock it down to 3. 4, ready, steady, go. I literally don't see any difference. 1, 2, 3. There's a tiny bit of difference. Not enough to warrant doing it. So let me just render that then. I'll probably go make a cup of tea and all. Started this video out so angry. So angry, but I'm excited now. This is going to look quality now. So we'll call this no smoke. Should be pretty fast. I hope it's pretty fast. There we go, 1 second a frame. This is it. This is what I bought a 4090 for. 1 second a frame renders, not a minute long a frame. So we're back. It's rendered out. Didn't take long. Had a cup of tea. Lovely. It's nice to see this animation without the smoke because I really did like the back end part of the animation. So I liked that slide I get to see the wheel locking up, and like this shot here is my favourite shot. So it was all covered in smoke before, so I wanted to redo it. I'd like to carry on following it around and just a bit of pendulum. That'll fade out lovely into like the next scene. This is fantastic looking at this. But as soon as we add that smoke, it looks garbage, doesn't it? So what we're going to do then is chuck in that particle system. It might be worth running you through it. I already have once, haven't I? It's pretty simple, really. But we need to save that out as an asset now. So I'm thinking what I'll do as well is I'll put this asset online just so you've got the framework, you know what I mean? I'll probably upload it with the floor for you as well so that you understand that you need to do the collision, but ideally I don't want to because I want to save it as an asset without the floor. So we delete this floor. It is carrying on. It's kind of carrying on with floor not being there. So once you built it then we can just save it out, can't we? This is awesome. Oh, this is so much more fun than using simulation. So if we come into this mode so we can just see it. It's kind of, I think our origins there. Is it there? Is it there? It will be, won't it? Be in the center of that square. So what we need to do is we need to save these into a collection. If we call it the particle tire smoke. Mars bar fingers. How do you spell tire? Is it T-I-R-E or is it T-Y-R-E? Or is it just like a country thing? Different countries, different folks, different strokes. And obviously we can chuck these into that collection then, can't we? If we give this a save, I don't know where it's saved to, so it's probably worth putting it somewhere you know where you're going to find it. So if I go into assets, particle tire smoke, we've got ourselves an asset then now. So if we can close that now. Move my microphone, I can't see. So we've got this open already, haven't we? Now, probably should discuss as well. You should be attaching all this to your rig before we even built this scene, kind of thing. Putting this smoke on this way is an utter nightmare, and it would have been far easier. It probably would be easier for me now to go back to the original model, attach it all to it, and then just import it back onto here. But I just don't want to do all that keyframing again. Yeah? So we're going to do it the slow, hard way, but the results should be 10 times better than what we've had. Probably do a time lapse then. It'd be worth it, wouldn't it? I've showed you before how to import things, haven't I? So then, I've copy and pasted to two sides. And what I've done is I've selected the body and I've put a collision on the body with not really anything on it, just to say when it hits the body, disturb it, yeah. So once you've done that, it gets a bit heavy on your computer. So you've got your cache here where you can click bake. So I've clicked bake and it's currently doing it. It's doing it very slowly. So smoke is unavoidable. We've got to bake things and simulations, but I feel like this is going to be magnificent when it's done. So I'm going to have a cup of tea and hopefully we're going to have some skinny tire smoke. And we'll probably discuss whether we want it bigger or not, because it might be okay. It might be like realistic because it's going so fast. You're not going to have those plumes, are you? Or can we change the fade-ins and can we change how much and how, you know what I mean? Can we scale it in the middle so it gets bigger to smaller? Well, let's bake this and see what happens. Buzzing though. Very excited about this bit. Hello. So I've already thought about how we can make this render quicker or how we can make it bake quicker, but I don't want to stop it because I just want to view it, but at the same time, like, it's taking ages. This is what sucks about baking. We don't need the trail to be as long, do we? So it's like baking all this data that we don't need. We only need the trail at the very beginning, then we can like really trim that. So, but I don't know how to cancel a bake, if I'm honest. There's no X button to cancel it, so I guess we're just going to sit and wait. But that's going to take a good half hour. I'm excited, I just want to crack on. It's using my disk cache and I'm wondering if it's worth using my RAM because it's quicker. That's something I'm not happy with. How do I stop it? I don't think I've pressed save, so like, you know what I mean? For some reason my autosave isn't working either. Advantage of letting it cook though is we've got plenty of scope on the camera all the way through the scene if we need it. So I was thinking about doing like a nice cut in when he locks the wheel up, you know, and like punch in the zoom a little bit. That I might do in post. It'd be nice to have the scene locked in so then I can just sit back and get creative and, you know, like tart it up a little bit. Put some background in or something, you know what I mean? This is animation. If you want a scene, it's probably going to take you a week. Every time you render it, you'll look at it and you'll be like, I hate it. That bit there's stupid. And then you'll go to bed at night and you'll be like laid wide awake going, why didn't I do that? That's, you know what I mean? You'll figure it out. This annoyed me, this did. So, you know, I want to cancel this. It's the collision that's causing all this, like, pain. And we don't necessarily need that collision on. I need to know how to stop this caching now, to be fair. But it's froze the PC up. There's no stop button, and I can't save it. I'd love to know the explanation as well as to why it's baking, but it's not using any resources whatsoever. It's like, couldn't you try, at least? There's all that CPU that you could be using, all that memory you could be using, and it's just ticking away. You know what I mean? Drives me wild. Well, there's probably a logical explanation that I don't understand. Is there anybody techie out there that can explain why baking is so slow? Why didn't I press save? Probably going to be about 20 gig big, that is all. Would you not agree? This is more painful than an update for Call of Duty. It's like, it's really affecting my mood. It's like, I want to play my Blender, and I can't, because I got to sit here for like an hour. Like, can we do something about this? Seriously. Baking is such a plague on this planet that needs to be destroyed. Can we not do baking anymore? Right then, Blender crashed. It stopped baking, but I started to ponder around my computer and I was thinking, do I need to update some drivers? Because my computer was sluggishly slow. So I have a Ryzen 9 in my computer, don't I? And I've reinstalled Windows many times on this computer. And I've just done something magical to my computer. I opened this function and I was still on default setting and I wasn't overclocking my CPU. So my CPU was only getting 4 megahertz, wasn't it? It was so buggy, it was driving me nuts. But at the same time, it stabilizes Blender very well. And if you get sick of your Blender crashing all the time, turn your overclocking off. And that's probably why I had this setting off, to be honest. But in times of need like now, we need to nitro my CPU. So we've done that. My computer now fires up so much more faster, and I do believe that the baking may now use 100% of the CPU. I don't know. So I've just applied it, reset my computer. I also want to optimize my cores, but it'll take an hour and a half to do it, so we're going to skip that. That's something else that you should be doing. So I've basically been running on awful settings on my CPU. So we're going to press apply. Selected curve optimizer has not been optimized, please. Right, yeah, so we can't have that on because I've got to do the hour and a half thing, you know what I mean? So we've got to do a restart. We don't, because they're already applied. If we close this, and if we reopen it, we can basically see we've got those same settings on, yeah? So we basically automatically overclocked at the minute, and it's given us a whole megahertz, which is basically 1/4 more speed. My mind's blown. What I also did was check up on my graphics card. Now if you click your NVIDIA, you should be familiar with this menu, shouldn't you, where you come to your settings and you can basically change your drivers. Or is it? It's this one here, isn't it? Click on your drivers and you can basically have a studio or a gaming one. Up here, you can either have the game ready one or the studio driver, depending on what you're on. I want the studio one, so I've obviously downloaded that. That got updated a month ago, so that might be why we were getting some really poor performance. So I'm excited to try my PC out now. We've got gains, bro. So it does mean I've got to start all over again with that particle system because I don't think I saved it. But we may find that Blender is a lot faster now. Apparently not. First start up, it's probably got to dial itself in, isn't it? And we're in. So if we open our recent, yeah, we didn't save anything. My folders are opening faster. I feel like I've done many improvements on this computer. Oh my days, thank God for that. So if we click on that animation, then we try and reopen it, and we'll see what we lost. I can't believe my CPU wasn't overclocked. You gotta do it, man. Auto overclocking. 25% gains, an extra megahertz. So we can see we've got a particle system. We may have saved it. We did. We saved it. This is excellent news. There's two emitters there. So my computer's not happy though. It's not stable anymore. As you can see, it's not responding. But at least we saved it. This is good news. We open it up. There's another setting I wanted to check as well. I keep meaning to click this button and keep forgetting. Come to our preferences. I'm wondering if on our system we allow our CPU to do some heavy lifting. Sometimes it slows it down, sometimes it helps it out. Let's give it a try. Our particle system is too heavy. We need to change the emission from that much. We need to half it, really. And it changes them both, yeah. And we also need to take the collision off of the car because it's absolutely killing it. So if we knock that off there, we should now have freed up our animation. Beautiful. Oh my god. Collision is a computer killer. That's what the problem there was. That's all the baking was doing. It had too much to do. We've got enough smoke there, I think. Probably test it. Oh my days. I still love the particle system though. I've just changed a bunch of settings. I just feel like I need to restart my computer again to get the performance back. But now we've done this, if we just test it, I'm going to save it and restart my computer, I think, because it's not happy. We click back to the first frame and we press save. We can see our graphics card's not kicking in. It's saying loading render kernels may take a while for the first time. We've basically updated our GPU, aren't we? So it's gone a bit cuckoo. Ooh, eBay notification. Listing matches for 350Z rear bumper. I've already got one. I want wheels. I don't want. If you want to watch a drift car being built, there's another Whalejaw channel called Whalejaw Customs. Started to build a drift car last summer, and winter came, and then we hibernate. If you want more content about cars, you'll realise I'm just a car guy. If you want to see more, it's like kind of a behind the scenes for this channel more than out. If you want to see normal me, we're in, boys, we're in. Does that mean I come over to no, we're still not in. Let's load this in as well. It's like the Angel Batman. Probably going to edit this out, but this is taking a long time. So we're in, boys, we're actually in. Look at that. Looks fast. Can we play it that fast in this mode? Should we just scroll through and we can look at our smoke? We can see our smoke, it's a bit patchy, can't we? We can fiddle around again now. Looks like, as well, if I adjust one, it adjusts them both, which is awesome. So, I'm gonna say we need a bit bigger. I'm saying like double the size at least. And we probably want a few more, don't we? Just to fill in those gaps. We probably could put it back up to a decent number again now, because we're not really struggling on performance, are we? Oh, look at that. So we catch. Oh my days, look at it. That looks perfect. That looks 1,000 times better than the previous attempts using fluids. Oh my days, that looks sick. That looks so good. I just want to render that now. We've basically baked it. That little red line at bottom, look, shows that it's baked in. I probably still would have to bake it. I need to check the first bit, don't we? When we see it the most, it comes in. Nice little smoke. Kind of tails off a bit, doesn't it? So we could do it being a bit longer, really. So lifetime. We probably want it. It were at 50, wasn't it, at the beginning? So should we try it at 50 again? And it takes it all the way off the screen then, doesn't it? We've just got a few strays, which would be... Oh, we've got scale randomness as well. Ooh, I want to try that one. So we've got a couple of puffs there. I'm going to let them go. So the scale randomness has broken up that, hasn't it? So what's it do? Yeah, we've got loads of different. So we probably want more. Want it a little bit bigger again, like that. Don't we? That seemed to be like perfect. A bit too big, innit? Want it about that much. Probably we just want a 7,000 back. To be honest, we probably cracked it on that number last time, didn't we? It's like baking. The scale randomness, I don't like it. It's all it's done is it's created problems, hasn't it? But turning it off, it's perfect like that. Oh, that is so good. Look at that, it's so good. Let's finish it off. That's wicked. It's burying the wheel, I like that. It's burying the back. It puffs and chugs around. So it feels like it's on and off throttles and stuff. This is beautiful. How much a frame is that going to take? I'm going to press save. I think we've finally cracked this scene. We could actually go to post and do something with it now. See, this is where I turn that CPU on, it can actually hinder us. Because it'll start using the CPU to render when it should be using the GPU. God, everything's about waiting when you do smoke. It's like I need a fidget spinner or something. Hey! How long is it going to take? Oh my days, look at that. I can see all the car, we've not interrupted the beautiful scene. We've still got smoke, and it looks thick, it looks bountiful. So much better. 2 minutes, but obviously I had to do the thing. If we just press render again to actually get a true time. 72 samples. It's obliterating it. 10 seconds. What? 20 seconds. It is a volume, so it's probably still going to take a decent amount of time, but I'm really happy with that. Oh, yes. So, we could do something else. So, we can tell it when to start. We may as well tell it when to end as well, aren't we? See, like, if we come into a better view, like this one. See, tank slaps and it's going to, like, knock it off there. So we could probably, like, end it about here. Probably about there. Come No, I'm going to keep it going, screw it. We didn't need it to come on till then, which is fine. It's leaving smoke on the floor, which is fine. This is wicked. I love it. I can't believe I'm done. Let's render it. It's probably going to take a while. Mind. Render. Yeah. It should be all set up. Oh, it's got a lot, mega. Oh, it shows up the lights and everything. Oh, I can't wait. Come on, let's go. Go on, all that. Oh, baby. Pressing save, I'm pressing render. I'm just going to send it. See how quick it can do it. We're on 3 seconds a frame now, down to 2. Must always remember when you're in here, put it into this mode, because otherwise it's rendering 2 screens, you know. So now, obviously, it's halved it. Down to 189, 185. This is mint. Till the smoke comes in, then it's all going to hit the fan. This is what we want. I will probably delete that other video over time. But this is also what my channel offers. We encounter problems and we overcome them. I now hate the background and that's going to bug me. I'll see you on the other side then. Oh my days. It's tripping, but that first bit's perfect. It's a bit chuggy there, but it's kind of like coming off throttle anyway. So it kind of like fits in with the nature of what the vehicle's doing, so I'm letting that one slide. I'm just acknowledging that I know it's a bit... But for 3 seconds of frame, I don't care. This is a victory. It's up to you now to noodle it in, you know what I mean? This. Oh my god. I wasted a whole day yesterday doing that other thing. So to summarise then, what we've learnt in this episode is we use particle systems to create tyre smoke. We do that in games. This is how I knew how to solve it. Because I learnt this in Unreal Engine. When you do tyre skidding, it's the same principle, but it's just like a flat object and it'll stay on that plane. If I wanted to, I could put tyre marks on now. It's a very simple. It probably would be worth a next episode, but I'm calling this a wrap on this scene. I don't want nothing to do with this scene again. What I want to do now is go back to my model, and this is what you do, is this is like a beta test on your model. You know that you like that tyre smoke now, so you go back to your source model, and you'll put it into one solid model. So when we import it in, everything will all be nice and tidy and sorted, yeah? So it might even be worth doing a burnout scene as well, because we're inevitably got to test it. So I'd like to continue making more scenes for this, but I feel like the scene represents this whole saga anyway, doesn't it? We've had a 2-hour saga where we've learned the best method to make car tyre smoke. So when you're discussing it with your mates, you can be like, no mate, you want a particle system. You can shut them down. Unless it's like you're talking to Elon Musk and he's got like a whole factory of GPUs and CPUs. Amazing. So this definitely, surely deserves a like, doesn't it? Like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. I don't know what it is. I just don't want to do smoke. Whatever I'm doing next is not having smoke in it. Awesome. Nice one. I'll see you in a bit, people. Thank you for putting up with me.